not that I can see.
Okay, thanks. I just had a carrot.
Well, at least it's healthy, right? If somebody finds it, be like, at least I'm eating my veggies, right?
I don't care if people know I eat healthy. I just don't want to have food in my teeth.
It was like less embarrassing than like chocolate cake in your teeth or something like that, you know?
Is it? Who cares?
Maybe. I don't know. I can't tell if we've landed yet or not. Okay, here we are. I think we've landed. So I'm going to push record and
Squash moi.
we'll stop talking about the food that might or might not be in your teeth.
Sounds
Okay.
like a plan. I did for us try. I could only get halfway through the new Madonna interview because I'm like, there's no way they're interviewing Madonna and it's not going to be propaganda. And I just found it really boring halfway through. And it seems like, okay, they're trying to like recast her as some sort of spiritual leader because she's gonna, it's like the synthesis. She's telling us everyone needs to be a Kabbalah Jew. Everyone else needs to be a Christian, but it doesn't sound like her anymore. And I was like, is this a fake Madonna? Is this a hologram? But the gestures are on point. They're very Madonna esque.
So it's funny because I watched about probably 30 to 45 minutes of that interview. Like Madonna's not someone who's been high up on what I'm thinking about lately, but for some reason I've been watching that Jay Shetty podcast because he has a lot of tennis players on. He had like Novak Djokovic on recently and Arena Sabalenka. And when I saw he was having Madonna on, I was like, all right, I'll check that out. And it was kind of so there's a couple of things. So to me, this definitely was Madonna. Like I think sometimes in the last several years we've been fed not Madonna, Madonna. I feel like this definitely was Madonna, but it was kind of a little bit of a hollowed out Madonna, a little bit of a um, like she uh,
Was pretending to be an enlightened person.
well, aside from that, just like she like maybe fell out of something's good graces and wants back into it or whatever. So it's like,
Maybe? You think maybe?
well,
Madonna's whole purpose in life is to be famous and top of mind.
right. But what I'm saying is like in terms of whoever the king makers or queen makers of the
Her
moment are,
handlers.
she has been out of favor for a small period of time, whether it was because of, I don't know what it was because of. And it seems like she wants back into a spot that she's not been in for the last several years, right? And this was like a sort of tiptoeing back into that. And she even said it in there, like, this is really the only time I've ever been on an interview when I'm not selling something or promoting something. So she kind of did it right. Like it's kind of just stated it all right there. It was definitely her. I could tell by the voice. I could tell by the gestures and the
The
mannerisms.
voice, it doesn't sound like her at all.
If you listen to Madonna back like before, like I can't say before she was famous because we didn't know about her before she was famous, but before she became like global mega like biggest star in the world famous, there's certain vocal affects that I recognize as being her. Like I've spent a lot of time listening to Madonna in my life. That's definitely Madonna. I think some of the things that we've been shown um, told are Madonna in the last like 10 to 15 years at times I think haven't been. But I think this is like there's some percent, at least some percentage of the original Madonna in whatever this thing is right now. But the gestures are the thing that
The
are
gestures were the giveaway. The voice is not the same voice at all. I think we've all heard Madonna a million times. We've all seen Truth or Dare. We've all, like, she was very everywhere. So we've
but
heard
I'm
it.
talking about like from the early.
It's not the same voice. But if you were going to do your first interview in 9 years, wouldn't you touch up your roots?
So
She can afford it.
the voice recognition for me comes pre that period of time. It comes back like 1981, 82 period of time, that certain little affects and inflections that's what made me notice. But yeah, it was interesting that, she looks better than some things I've seen her looking the last few years, but some of those things I wasn't sure were Madonna. So like I agree with you. It was a very underwhelming reintroduction to whatever role it is she thinks she's playing.
Yeah, it was just
And it was boring. It was
yeah,
boring.
it was boring. There was nothing to pull, and I'm not inspired to finish it because it's just Snoresville.
Yeah, I think, well, to me, I got about like maybe 37, 42 minutes in, and it's like repackaging all of the new age platitudes we all already know somehow as wisdom coming from Esther or whatever, which is
Correct.
her
And
Kabbalah name. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm glad that you mentioned that because it feels like, okay, this is a setup. They're like seeding the groundwork to give us wisdom holder Madonna. But she also contradicted herself the whole time. Like she was playing the victim, but then saying, I never play the victim. She would say like something really smart and wise and then immediately cancel it out with some dumb shit thing. So it just seemed very, very fake.
Well, that's always the thing, right? Like one of my favorite people who always does that. Remember when I used to say how like Tim Pool says something and then immediately unsays the thing he said with the thing he next says, right? Like he was exactly one of those things, right? So
Yes, yes.
that's how you always know that someone is like doing platitudes and whatever it is when they're doing that.
Yeah.
It's sad, right? Like it's just like I don't know if it's sad how far she's fallen, or if it's sad how high we used to think she was, right? Like, is it us that had this distorted view of things, or did she have a distorted reality? You know, it's probably both. But yeah, it's definitely she's been way chopped down to size for sure.
I mean, I think if anything is sad, it's our culture because she's just playing her role and trying to cling on to relevance in her way. But I don't think she made an ass of herself. Like she didn't
No.
say anything to, but she actually was very well spoken, and the things she was saying were salient. They just
Sure.
weren't new. They weren't her ideas. It just feels like this was so out of the blue and boring that it's setting us up for Madonna like 33.33.0.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. She didn't embarrass herself. She didn't say anything dumb. She don't think she even said anything that was like wrong or not true or anything like that. It just was like 25 or 30 years too late in terms of like where the conversation was at. Right?
I feel like it's so on point for her because she will not go gently into that good night, which she doesn't have to. Like she can fight it out and try to find another piece of relevancy. Like that was the only thing consistent was Madonna once again putting herself in the spotlight and underwhelming us.
I think she's had some better steps into the spotlight than this one. For sure.
Oh yeah, but at least this one she wasn't like with her boobs falling out or do you know like I've seen her make way more of an ass of herself. This was
Sure.
just like
Boring.
Boring and irrelevant.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if she had said these things in 1995, right? Like as she was learning them, if she started talking about them more openly then, it would have been a relevant conversation. But like essentially she's just out there spouting what anybody who has researched any form of spirituality, anyone who's watched any science fiction movie or read any science fiction book, engaged in conspiracy theory research at all, anything interested in UFOs, aliens, Tartaria, anyone who's interested in any of those types of topics, like this is old news, right? And so she missed the boat on this one, but you know, there's new people stepping into these awarenesses every day. And I'm sure for some listeners of this Jay Shetty podcast, this felt enlightening.
Probably, but I still think this is seeding the groundwork for another tendril of the op that has to do with religion that we haven't seen yet.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there
was so nothing there. It was like they didn't do this just for this. This is a setup for something.
Well, it's almost like the sort of support for Israel and like traditional Judaism is definitely failing. So, okay, let's try the Kabbalah route and see if we can grab a few people that way and steer them back. I didn't get far enough into the interview to hear if they had any conversation about current world events or what her thoughts are on that. So I don't know if she is, you know, separating herself from that with this, even though she did say Kabbalah is different than regular Judaism. In the past, she's had periods where she seemed to be very, very supportive of Israel, and then other periods where she was basically making protest videos in support of Palestine. So it's hard to say. I don't know what her current position is or what her actual real position is. So I don't know I don't know which arm of the op she's employed by at this moment. But yes, there's no part of anything that gets more millions of views that isn't part of the op. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's like this wasn't done for the sake of itself.
Correct.
And we'll just wait and see what this is setting us up for.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. For sure. So, all right. Well, nice to be back with everybody here. We missed you guys last week, that we were having fun doing nothing and having fun doing nothing. I was in Santa Fe, so we were getting to hang out, and mostly we ate and drank yummy things and had adventures, and didn't do a lot of work. Yeah, but I did. It feels like it's been more than 2 weeks, so I'm glad to be back here doing the thing. Where shall we start?
Where would you? I feel like you have some good, really.
My stuff is like all one thread, basically. Like it's all like there's not a variety of stuff. It's kind of all piling on the same topic. So you have a few more varied things. Do you want to do a few of yours first, ending with that one that was the whole China thing issue, and then I can use that to step into my issue, or what do you want to do?
What's the China thing?
You said there was one. The last thing you told me seemed like it would connect to my topic. What was the last thing you told me?
My fight with ChatGPT?
No. You told me about a fight with ChatGPT.
Kristen Wiig and why she's addicted to plastic surgery?
No, there was one more that seemed to be something related
Susan to Rice memo? James Comey?
Was there something in there about China?
Oh, RFK invented the term turnkey totalitarianism. SB 711 passed while everyone's conjecturing about Charlie Kirk's wedding ring.
There we go. Maybe that's what it was. Is that
the guy about the brain computer interface?
No, the Charlie Kirk. It could be either that one, the Charlie Kirk thing, or that one. Things that were happening while everyone was paying attention to, which strange device actually shot Charlie Kirk. Whether his wedding ring deflected the bullet, was it his cross necklace? Did his microphone explode? All of that stuff, right? There's been a lot of that stuff that has definitely been taking up a lot of oxygen, and there's been things going on behind the scene that people aren't paying attention to. So yeah, I think those were the ones.
So the SB blah blah blah. So cute.
I have my new pet rock that Dani. I said that Dani had this on her shelf, and I was
coming from me.
No. Yes, not me.
What?
What is it?
Are we sure that's me?
Intelligent minorities can.
Oh my God.
Consent through the use
Stand
of
by.
manipulation, propaganda, and control.
I think that's you.
We should do it.
Where is it coming from?
I closed my
Huh.
Of a serious financial crisis, and the federal government is responding with decisive action.
I can't. I don't know how I would find. I have so many windows open. I don't know how I would ever figure it out.
I do too.
Danger exists in the world.
Oh dear.
Danger shared by all. We need.
I don't know what to do.
Should we both? Oh wait, it's mine. It's mine.
Okay.
Sorry. Found
Okay.
it. Oh my God. I have like 9,000 tabs open.
Me too. I was telling everyone about the pet rock that I told you I liked, and you said I could have, that you made. It's really pretty. I like it.
Yay, I'm glad you like it. I'm perfecting my pet rock painting techniques.
It's really good. It looks like it was done by a professional painter. The lines are really good. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. So do you want me to do the free speech one?
Just start with whatever one you want.
I have so many. I really want to go over Beyonce's dancing.
All right, let's do. Well, since you started with Madonna, we may as well move to the other. Like,
Oh, may I please have screen share?
Yes, I'll grant you permission.
Thank you.
Permission granted.
Why, thank you.
Just like your rights. There you go.
Thank you for granting me my rights. All right, let's do SB whatever, because I think this is a big part of what we are being distracted from with Charlie Kirk.
Okay.
Here we go. Fair use.
Free speech, something nobody seems to be talking about, happening in the background while none of us are paying attention. The bluest state in the country, California, just passed the most censorious bill ever to be introduced in this country, SB 771, passing the Assembly on September 10th, 10 days ago. Then on September 16th, passing the Senate completely under our noses, which means right now, all that stands between complete statewide government censorship is Gavin Newsom's signature. Now, am I exaggerating about how bad this bill is? No, I am not. Here is the actual bill. You can pull this up yourself on the state's website. The bill is called SB 771. It's called Personal Rights Liability Social Media Platforms. In Section 2, Title 23 of the bill, it defines the penalties for breaking this new California law. If you post something on social media anywhere online that the state of California deems to be hateful, there's a penalty for that reckless violation, a civil penalty of up to $500,000. For an intentional, knowing, or willful violation, a civil penalty of up to $1 million. That is the definition of the state controlling speech, folks, not what Trump just did. We don't like what the FCC chairman happened to say on Benny Johnson's show, but there's a huge difference between that and real government censorship. And what type of speech is California trying to police here? Well, let's read from the bill. It says, this bill protects against online harassment, particularly when directed at historically marginalized groups. Which means what? If you were to, I don't know, point out who the Kavanaugh assassin is, which we all just learned about this morning in this new court filing, if you were to say who that person is, would you be fined $500,000? Pretty frightening. All of this happened around free speech. Something nobody seems to be talking about happening in the background while none of us are paying attention.
That was it.
Who's the Kavanaugh assassin?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
I mean, I remember there was like some person outside of his house like back years ago, but this guy is saying that there's a new, let me see what this says. Okay, so yeah, that was back in 2022. Okay, but a new thing came out. Let's see. September 20th, DOJ seeks 30-year prison sentence for attempted Kavanaugh assassin. Okay, so it's another trans person, right?
Shocker!
Huh?
Shocker!
Right. So the female pronouns and goes by the name Sophie Roski, even though the birth name was Nicholas Roski. Okay, that's why he said that. I was like, was there another one? Okay, got it.
So that happened the 10th.
Okay, so that happened on the 10th.
That's pretty major.
Yeah.
That bill.
Well, I heard that there was something going on. It wasn't. Has Gavin Newsom signed it?
No, but why wouldn't he? He's a commie fuck.
Sure, but the only way that I could see him not doing that is if he grandstands about not doing that and makes a big deal about freedom of speech because he's trying to pretend he'll be a good candidate for president or whatever.
Should we wager on it? I think he's gonna sign it.
I think he'll
I
sign
wonder
it.
if he already did.
That's what I'm saying. Like if that was on the 10th, then maybe he signed. I would be shocked if he didn't. The only reason I could see him not is if he was trying to pretend that he believes in free speech to run for president.
As of October 1st, he has not yet signed it. He has until October 13th.
Okay, so we shall see. But even if he doesn't sign it, it's not because I don't think he doesn't believe in it. It's to just be grandstanding for some other reason.
I don't think he believes in anything.
He does not believe in anything.
It's all political grandstanding.
He believes in the power of his hair.
Which is good hair.
Gotta
give it to him.
Right, he believes in the power of his hair.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I do a quick screen share on my fight with ChatGPT?
Sure, we love it.
It's going to be super quick, I promise. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'm a liar. Does it matter?
Not
Here
at
we
all.
go. Okay, so oh shoot. Uh-oh. Here we are.
Oh, wait a minute.
What happened?
I don't know.
I have to stop the share because my Safari disappeared.
Oh.
Sorry, I can't help us. I don't know where it went.
I hate when that stuff happens.
All right, you take it. You take
All
it
right.
from here.
All right, well, since I'll just get into my pile, since my pile's all around basically that same idea. Like what was happening while everybody was like comparing bullet angles and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Magic bullet theories. So, all right, I saw this on Instagram a few days ago, on Sunday morning, I think. Right here, this of course was no shocker to me, right? This is, I've had my eyes on Larry Ellison forever, as lots of people who've been following me know, right? I've been talking about him forever, mostly because of I think I started right first year I was on with Randy because of his association with Rafael Nadal. But there was this meme on Instagram. Trump advisor admits Larry Ellison is the shadow president of the United States. Wired reports that Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison, now the world's second richest man with a fortune of over 350 billion, has quietly become one of the most influential figures in US politics. Once dubbed Silicon Valley's most notorious playboy, Ellison has shifted from yachts and fighter jets to GOP mega donations, Trump-backed tech projects, and media power plays. Oracle servers already underpin huge swaths of the AI industry, and the company is a major partner in Trump's $500 billion Stargate AI infrastructure plan, as well as a new $300 billion deal to supply OpenAI with computing power. Ellison also stands to shape what millions of Americans see online. Oracle hosts TikTok, US data, and is positioned to control its algorithm under a pending Trump-backed sale. At the same time, his family is assembling a vast media empire. Son David Ellison has absorbed Paramount into Skydance, which owns CBS News, and is pursuing Warner Brothers' Discovery takeover and potentially putting CNN under Ellison influence. Wired likens the strategy to the Gilded Age. The Ellisons cornering attention and data as the Vanderbilts did railroads and the Rockefellers oil, a shift from Musk's erratic dominance to a quieter, steadier shadow rule in Washington. Okay, so all that's not shocking to me. But then a few hours later, or maybe it was even a few minutes later, I can't remember, it was on Sunday, I heard this. This was an interesting X Hangouts, right? About Dan Bilzerian reacting to the things that Candace Owens has been saying. But even before I left on vacation, we were talking about how, like, what are we missing while everybody's focused on this, right? And also, we have not seen a single truth stream media video since the Charlie Kirk assassination. And they were the people who first informed us many years back that every time there's a school shooting or one of these events, there's either an international war crime or some sort of crazy financial bill or constitutional right kind of thing that happens that we don't pay attention to. And since we haven't seen a single video from them, I imagine they're putting together an epic piece on what we missed while we've been paying attention to this. And I'm sure it may include some of this, but here's what I got so far. Here we go.
And Truth Teller, I know you had your hand up for a minute and you always come with some heat, brother. Welcome to the stage, man. If you guys aren't following Truth Teller, please give this man a follow. He's literally a walking encyclopedia. And I know you had your hand up for a minute, so I want to give you the time to respond to Dan and then kind of jump in here.
Sure, yeah, thanks. I was gonna just add on to the angle, not so much about what took place specifically at the assassination, but what was happening behind the scenes at the same time that isn't really getting talked about as much, is not getting much media attention. And that's that, Larry Ellison conveniently just became the richest guy in the world, made over $101 billion in a day just for announcing a $300 billion deal with OpenAI and Sam Altman, which makes no sense. His stock just shot up 40%. And this doesn't happen ordinarily with a mature tech stock. It's extremely unusual. It involves some sort of insider trading happening here, because you look at who some of the main shareholders are, it's the usual suspects, the likes of BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, etc., to pump the stock like that. And then it drops literally 2 days later. So it goes from like 340 some odd dollars down to like 292 in 2 days. So it makes you wonder who made a real fast buck while nobody was looking. Because these types of anomalies that take place with stocks would absolutely should be alarming and get the attention of the SEC, maybe in the DOJ, to take a look. Is there some insider trading taking place?
And check those call options. Check those.
Exactly, because they had call options on the way up, Ian, and on the way down. They made money both ways. We're talking billions of dollars here for a company worth close to $1 trillion. Like, these aren't small trades. So do you wonder how these billionaires
They also acquired TikTok in that time, right?
Yeah, right. Well, so I posted the latest update on that. Apparently, China or Singapore haven't officially signed off on the deal because the number doesn't make any sense at all. Why would they be selling their U.S. entity, part of the company that generates $16 billion a year? That was back in 2023 for $14 billion. So to give you some perspective on that, the multiple makes absolutely no sense for less than one. The lowest multiple company for a tech company comparable to TikTok is at 6x. So it means they should be paying at the very least 6 times $16 billion. So it makes absolutely no sense why Singapore or anyone else would sign up on this deal, not getting talked about either. As a business insider that brought this up, I know you like the receipts, so I cited that for you. But no one's really talking about this stuff. Like, why is Larry Ellison, already the richest guy supposedly in the world, on paper anyway, on a Forbes list, but we know it's others who are really the richest. Why is he able to get such a sweet deal along with Anderson Horowitz? Because, again, they should be paying a whole lot more for it. And in addition to that, you had Netanyahu, who's currently at the UN. He's sitting down with influencers.
Pause.
I'm trying to put up the video.
Pause. Do you have a theory as to why he's underpaying and what the real deal is?
So, okay, so let's listen to a few more minutes of this because they continue at that. But the part that was most interesting to me was that during this period of time, it may have even been on the same day, right? Larry Ellison became the richest man in the world. And the
Correct.
way he became the richest man in the world was by making money on the stocks going up and then making money again on the way down, which is the same kind of activity we saw on 9/11 that went under the radar while everybody was, in the chaos of whatever that was. And remember, a few weeks back, you and I were having a conversation about maybe trying to identify which character in David's book Larry Ellison matches up to, right? Because that's those kinds of moves, right? And so when we start, all my clips today are going to be about this topic and about Larry Ellison, about his acquisition of TikTok and all of this kind of stuff, and what's really going on here, like what is behind that. And so, I don't know. I don't have a theory as to why he would have underpaid for it. I'm not a financial person, so I don't know how all these things are structured. But it is also it's entirely possible that there was some other type of deal made. Maybe some other people benefited behind the scenes from some of these stock up and stock down, stock down things. I don't understand how all that world works. But that definitely flew under the radar, right? Like that's, if you go and listen to like the people who track the financials on 9/11, people like Richard Grove and other people like that. This is exactly the kind of activity that was happening during in that moment. And you and I were talking about this last week. Like this has received, like, I think it's even received more attention than 9/11 has in the short period of time since it happened.
Larry Ellison or
No, Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, which is so dumb. I truly could not care less. But I do think it's important, this China thing, because if he's underpaying,
Right.
it's because there's a deal. Like there's
The deal.
like information is still being shared. Like there's
Well, we're gonna get to that. We're
Okay.
gonna that
Okay.
comes up at all. There's a circle jerk here that
got
is
it. Okay.
okay. All right, here we go.
So let me post about, I got it from Gen X girl, I'll give her credit for that, great find. And that's that the biggest war for Israel right now is the battle on social media on these platforms, both X and TikTok. So they conveniently handed over the reins to Larry Ellison, who will control the algorithm. And he already controls cloud storage anyway. He's already got a whole lot of power and pull, gets very little press attention, and he's in the process of building a media empire. His son, of course, recently just acquired through Sundance both Paramount and CBS. I mean, CNN might be next, and they're putting Barry Weiss in charge of Paramount and CBS News. I'm not sure if she's going to run that as well. Very similar to Robert Maxwell's accumulation of media empires, right under people's noses. No one's saying anything. Why is so much power concentrated in the hands of a few? Particularly Larry Ellison, who, by the way, he's CTO, Chief Tech Officer of Oracle, but he's got an Israeli-born in charge of the company, CEO, Safar Katz. So, I mean, is this really an American-run company, or who's really in charge here? And you'll see that he's just gonna, kind of enjoys, his nepotism, preferential treatment towards his own Jews and Israelis and like Unity 200s, etc. And by the way, I also suggest people take a look at the board of TPUSA. You'll see some interesting people on there. I mean, there's like 8 names. I'm not going to go through them all, but there's literally a Mossad agent that's on there. It just kind of gets ignored. That how are these individuals? His name is Mike Levin, Jewish Federation of Las Vegas, Birthright Israel Foundation, Director of Iraq, Afghanistan, American Director. He's one of them. And then I'll get to the Mossad guy in a second. I've got to go down and find it. But I believe 4 out of 8 are either Israeli and or Unit A200 guy. Here it is. It's David Blumberg, Blumberg Capital founder, Brofman Family Office. You remember, of course, Sam Edgar Brofman. They're co-founders of the mega group, the billionaire group that's in charge of, trying to make policies that's good for Israel. Globalist minded, of course, co-founded with, of course, Les Wexner, one of the financiers, or one of the guys that enabled Epstein. I've been learning now, Epstein made a lot of money before he even met Les Wexner, so he was doing just fine. The whole handing off of the townhouse in New York and also giving him POA, that was part of a different type of strategy. He didn't so much need that money. And this guy is he also runs Checkpoint Software Technologies. And again, with Unity 200, also controls Authentics, the same company that's used to validate IDs for this particular website. And this guy's on the board of TPUSA. And there's others as well. I won't go through every single one. I don't want to bore everybody, but All these things are just kind of happening behind the scenes while people are just bogged down trying to figure out whether Charlie Kirk was actually shot. Was it again staged with AI and some kind of a special effect graphic that may have caused his heart attack, or a hologram possibly through a hologram projector behind him? Just everyone's debating all these options, and meanwhile, you've got Larry Ellison, guy that gets very little attention from the press. Once in a while, we'll do an interview because he's usually busy racing his yachts. Guy's 81, pushing 81 years old, hasn't skipped a beat, and I think he's found like a fountain of youth. He certainly doesn't look any more like 81 going on 30, and he's still building his crazy media empire, putting his kid and Barry Weiss in charge of some very important entities that will control the media and the messaging and the narrative going forward. And of course, he's also very good friends with Elon Musk. Doesn't like Larry Page too much. That guy's kind of in hiding, but doesn't have a problem with Sergey Brin. This guy's been in the tech world a long time. This company initially funded seed funding provided by none other than Alvin Krongard, former COO, Chief Operating Officer of the CIA, and also the Executive Director. Kind of a big deal. Was also Chairman, CEO of Alex Brown, same company that, of course, shorted both United Airlines stock, American Airlines stock on that 11. Just some fun facts about who's really running things behind the scenes. Because sure as hell isn't the government. I'll pause there. Thanks. Hope you enjoy that, Ian.
Hey Ryan, let me chime in just a second. I'm quick on it. But dude, I got put on my TikTok. I got an account ban. A warning.
All right, we're going to stop right there with that one. So, first of all, because of the kind of information that Larry Ellison and his associates control, it's also entirely possible that they had compromise on somebody that they were trying to acquire, somebody who they were trying to acquire TikTok from. So I don't push aside the possibility that there was underhanded activity that way. Or it could literally just be a deal like, okay, we're going to store the data on our server, but we're going to wire it all back to you. And so you'll still be getting it. Right. And then I have some pieces that are coming that kind of highlight that, it doesn't really matter who has the data because everyone sells the data to everyone else anyway, right? The secondary market on data. So anywho, but
is Larry Ellison also from South Africa?
Larry Ellison is not from South Africa. Okay. Larry Ellison was from Oakland.
Okay.
And he was born into a cult and then later started really resonating with apparently his Jewish heritage, but he was in one of those strange middle of the century cult, middle of the century cults that was in the Bay Area. And, there's even the name Oracle, like Oracle was the name of one of the groups and one of the newspapers that were heavily involved in the MK psychedelic sort of movement time period in the Bay Area and whatever it is. So the name Oracle can have many inspirations or whatever it is, right? So he's a weird character. I believe he was also adopted, like in the similar way of like the whole Tucker Carlson family weird thing with the adoption. It's hard to track exactly who his parents.
Wait. Oh wait. Okay. Tucker was adopted. I'm forgetting.
No, I think Tucker's dad was adopted.
Okay, I want to go back to Oracle real quick because I know you're not into Jason Bashir's work, but when he's broken down the Oracle of Delphi and the other oracles that existed, he said that they were always from the jump intelligence gathering operations.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly could see. I don't know that. I mean, I don't know that would be the main or the only reason. It could be the main. It could be the only. I don't think it's the only. There's lots of things I think that were going on with those oracular priestess operations, but certainly I do know they were keeping track of everything.
Yeah.
They were recording everything and keeping track of everything, which is what Larry Ellison is obsessed with, right? Which is essentially, if you look into, and we've talked about this other places, I've been tracking Larry Ellison for a long time, and because of what's happening now, I'm just going to have to push something to I have this book that I've bought that I've been wanting to read for a bit called The Difference Between God and Larry Ellison Inside Oracle Corporation. Hint, God doesn't think he's Larry Ellison, by a guy who used to work there. So I probably should push it to the front and read it and maybe see if I can get an interview with this guy. But I mean, he's been involved in intelligence, in MK Ultra, in the old, the other Stargate besides the new AI one, which is really just a way of whitewashing the old one into reality on some levels. he doesn't want there to be anything that anyone knows that he is not aware of. He's like got that control freak type of personality, and I have some of our friends from the alternative media here to help us put more of this story together. So starting with our good friends, the boys from Due Dissidence, we'll listen to them for a while, and then we'll go to Jimmy Dore and I forgot to do. I hope it sounded okay. I forgot to share sound before. Hope you guys were able to hear it. Sorry about that. Here we go. Fair use.
All right. So as you might have heard, this week we were rescued from the scourge of China. Chinese data collection. We've been rescued. TikTok is now safely in American hands, according to J.D. Vance.
All credit goes to the Secretary of the Treasury. Couldn't have got it done without Scott. Also couldn't have got it done without Sean Cooksey on my team, so thanks to them. The company will be valued at around $14 billion. We actually think this is a good deal for investors, but ultimately the investors are going to make the determination about what they want to invest in.
It's terrible. It's valued, the company's valued at about $40 billion. Somehow they twisted their arms to take a lowball number.
And what they think is a proper value. The most important thing is that it does protect Americans' data security. It ensures TikTok is still accessible. And on this question of the algorithm, which we've heard this a lot, what this deal ensures is that the American entity and the American investors will actually control the algorithm. We don't want this used as a propaganda tool by any foreign government. We want to make sure that our people and our investors actually make these decisions based on what's good for their business, as opposed to what's good for another government's propaganda arm. So that's what we've done with this deal. I think it's very good for the American people. And as the president said, young people love this. We actually want everybody to access this, whether they're MAGA or not. We just want it to be fair. We want it to be fair to everybody. And we think that's what's going to happen with this new arrangement.
Oh, yeah. No, young people are loving this deal. We'll get to that. Sam Husseini, effectively making TikTok a pro-genocide platform. Trump and Vance, genocidal maniacs trying to turn TikTok over to genocidal fanatic Larry Ellison of CIA spinoff Oracle, who pours money into the Israeli military and calls Israel our state. Here's Donald Trump talking about how awesome it is.
Pause.
Awesome that Oracle is.
Pause. 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 I'm not a supporter of Israel, but this languaging is egregious and hysterical and insane. And it takes the oomph out of these words: racism, genocide, rape, sexual predator. Like when he's throwing them around like this goes into cuckoo land. Like we need to stop this and get back to speaking rationally. It's an abuse of the word.
No disagreement with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is leading this deal.
All credit goes to the Secretary of the Treasury. Couldn't have got it done without Scott. Also couldn't have got it done without Sean Cooksey.
To TikTok, I used it myself during the campaign, and it was very successful because you know how I did with the young voter.
Yeah, something is wrong with his face. I think I don't spend any.
It's not him.
Nearly as much time thinking about this as you do, but this is the first time I've looked at him, and I'm like, yeah, that is not him.
That nose is not him. The hair is not him. And notice the gestures are not happening.
Well, the hands look different than his hands.
This is not him.
It's not even just the gestures. Like I'm one of those people, like I look closely at people's like fingers and toes and like notice them. And when it's not someone's hands or not someone's, those don't look like hands I remember being his.
I agree. Well, notice also, okay.
He also looks smaller. He also looks small.
That's what I was going to say. He looks small in the chair, and if you're wearing like cufflinks, it's because your cuffs have been tailored to fit you. This shirt is too big on him. This is not Donald Trump.
Yeah, this is the first time that has really been super apparent to me. And
yay.
Yeah, well, I don't pay attention, so I just haven't. I'm not saying that when you've been saying it before, it's been wrong. I haven't been paying attention. I'm looking at this and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And Charlie helped me a lot too. And he said to me,
it's like the face, like his face looks like it hurts when he's talking.
And that's not a comb over. Like that's a person with hair.
Right. They had to make it look like a. Yeah, he's not missing. He's not missing any hair right here. It's
There's
like
no hair missing.
And just so everybody knows, Danny and I are uniquely familiar with men who wear comb overs as our gymnastics coach when we were younger. I mean, how old was he when we started with him? He had to be in his late 30s or early 40s when maybe we started with him.
Probably 40s.
He had red hair, no hair on top, just hair on the sides and in the back, and he pulled the back forward and pulled one side over. So it was like this, and it was really interesting to see how he put it together every day.
There was a lot of architecture and engineering involved, and I don't know if you remember, because I was always
architects and engineers for Fritz's hair.
Totally. Like, he had to have like blueprints for how to do it. But I was getting in trouble all the time. But there was a time where he went after me over my hair because it was the 80s and we were all going crazy. And the thing in the gym, it was
have some great poofy bangs and stuff.
Oh yeah, my bangs went up like a foot.
Yeah.
But it was kind of an unspoken thing. Like, we had to be respectful. No one ever said anything snarky to Fritz. But when he was going after me for my hair, I go, "What about your hair?"
I remember that. I remember that.
Anyway, okay,
Danny's probably the only person I know who went to Geo who spent more time in the dungeon or being sent home or in the corner or on the bench than I did. And I spent a fair amount of time myself. Okay.
And it actually had, because we got record votes with the young voter, as you know, for the election. So I was a little bit prejudiced in that way toward TikTok. It was very good and very meaningful. But we have American investors taking it over, running it, highly sophisticated, including.
If that's not a cabinet of crackpots, freaks, weirdos, and criminals, what is? What is? I wouldn't trust these guys to run a fruit stand legally, much less a government. Look at these guys. It's like the barbershop quartet from hell.
Larry Ellison. And Oracle, I guess, is going to play a very big role in terms of security, safety, and everything else. So we have very good controls. And literally, I would get a call from friends of mine who were fathers of young people.
Yeah, no, the company whose whole business is harvesting and mining data can really be trusted with your data security, with access to all of the personal information stored on TikTok. Yeah, man, I feel much better than I do with the Chinese
the official
zoning
deal
that
later
company.
this week at some.
All right, so here's everybody's favorite sugar baby since Heidi Fleiss explaining how the algorithm is going to be retrained.
Point. Under the terms of this deal, TikTok will be owned by a majority of American investors and controlled by a board of directors with extensive national security and cybersecurity credentials. In partnership with the U.S. government, Oracle will serve as TikTok's trusted security provider, and they will independently monitor the safety and data security of all U.S. user data on TikTok's platform. Americans' data will be stored securely in the United States without access from China. All U.S. user data will be stored on servers operated by Oracle in the United States, protected from surveillance or interference by foreign adversaries. And the algorithm, I know this is a question
I feel
many
so
of you
safe
have had,
now.
will be.
It's much. This is the thing. I'm not anymore like. I don't feel better if an American is surveilling me than a Chinese person is surveilling. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Like patriotic surveillance.
Right.
Secured, retrained, and operated in the United States outside of ByteDance's control. And TikTok will remain globally interoperable, meaning TikTok users in the U.S. will be able to see videos posted by users in other countries and vice versa. While I don't have a number on the specific.
All right. Well, that's enough of that. So this is Americans taking over this Chinese company on behalf of Americans. So why is Netanyahu whistling zippity doodah out his asshole?
New things, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential.
So what does he care? If TikTok is not being run on behalf of Israel, why would Netanyahu see the purchase of TikTok as beneficial to Israel? Why would he care one way or the other if a deal on TikTok goes through if this were not being done for Israel? But of course it is being done for Israel. This is WikiLeaks. Israeli-aligned billionaires seize TikTok in battle for U.S. narrative control. The White House has announced that the forced sale of TikTok will be finalized this week. The new ownership, led by Larry Ellison.
That's the other thing. It's a forced sale. So it was either going to get kicked out of the United States or forced sold. And because it was a forced sale, that's possibly why it was much lower than what it was actually valued at.
I mean, I'm sure that's the narrative spin they're putting on it to make this all seem.
But I'm sure that either if it was hostile, there was either like because somebody had something on someone, and if it's friendly, it's because they're just looping the data right back to them.
I don't buy the somebody had compromise on them because it's too public and questionable. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So if it was that, then they would have announced it for more money and then China would have just covered the difference. Do you know what I'm saying? It's too obvious this way.
Well, it's not actually a Chinese company, and that's part of what the whole propaganda around it has been. It was like a Singapore company, which Singapore is not China. And so that's been part of the whole propaganda that's happened around it, is convincing the American people that it is a Chinese-owned company. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, I remember watching the guy testify in Congress, and he's like, I'm not Chinese, I'm from Singapore, right? So that's part of it. This whole thing is smoke show, propaganda, crazy shit.
The largest individual donor to the IDF will take control of U.S. user data.
So wait a second.
And the algorithm which the
Pause. Help me understand this. If it's not, how can, when it's forced sale, who's forcing it?
So they're basically they were going to ban TikTok from the United States. It wasn't going to be used here.
Who's they?
The government.
Okay, the U.S. government.
The U.S. government was going to not allow TikTok to be used in the United States anymore unless they sold to an American, unless they sold it to.
Do we believe this? That right there is so fake.
Well, everything is fake, right? Like everything is fake, and I'm 100% certain that Oracle has plenty of contracts and deals in China, as does Palantir, as does like all that kind of stuff. So it's just like, let's just paper over the top of this, right? And so we can, as we get into what the new role for TikTok is going to be, it becomes clear maybe what some of the deal making was.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
White House says will be retrained. Ellison, who made his fortune developing Oracle, a database system he originally built for the CIA, already controls CBS, Paramount, MTV, Comedy Central, Showtime, Nickelodeon, as well as Channel 10 in Australia and Channel 5 in the UK. Ellison is also expected to finalize control over Warner Brothers Discovery, including CNN, HBO, and the Discovery Channel before the end of 2025. Even before the forced sale is finalized, censorship of TikTok content.
Pause. I don't know if you saw it. I didn't bring it, but have you seen that Trump's going after the FCC to loosen their regulations on media monopolies?
I haven't seen that, but that doesn't surprise me because of this.
That is insane. Like, it's already so egregious.
Well, that's the whole ethos of all of his new friends. Like, that's Peter Thiel's whole thing, is that monopolies are good. You want
I feel like we need to come up with a new name for fake Trump, just to make it clear.
Trump.
Frump it is.
Okay. He looks frumpy with that like poof of hair in the front. And
his clothes not fitting him?
Frump. Okay.
Content critical of Israel, including of the deal itself, has reached extreme levels as the platform moves to align with its prospective new owners. Fox, a Murdoch asset, is also seeking to join the Ellison consortium. a move that could enable cross-promotion between Fox and TikTok, further tightening the Israeli-aligned information bubble. Disapproval of what Israel is doing in Gaza has risen to 60% of the U.S. population, nearly double the approval rate of 32%. The U.S. still has over 3 years of Trump left. Israeli-aligned Jewish billionaires, oh, don't tell Megyn Kelly they said that, control OpenAI, Google, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Palantir, CBS, HBO, and most of Condé Nast. Reddit, Vogue, The New Yorker, Wired, GQ, Vanity Fair, as well as numerous Hollywood studios, regional papers, and radio stations. Well, that's nothing to worry about. Here's the guy. Here's your new king of all media here, Larry Ellison, being asked about his ties to Israel.
What is your connection to Israel?
Well, the renewal of the Jewish state is something that I think touches all of us. For 2,000 years, we were a stateless people, and now we have a country of our own, defended by all the brave men and women of the IDF. So anything we can do to support them, who devote their lives for preserving the state of Israel, keeping the people safe, and allowing our state to continue in sometimes in very, very difficult situations.
Who's our state?
Hang on, did he just say our state? I thought TikTok was sold to Americans. I thought he was an American. Wow, man. They say that dual loyalty accusation is blood libel, but the guy describes Israel as his state. It's his state, right? So should he be considered as someone who's acting for America or someone who's acting for Israel, which he describes as our state? You got a mouse in your pocket? It ain't my state, buddy. Midwestern Marks here broke down who Larry Ellison is very well. Let's hear what Eddie here had to say about it.
Look at one of the men who's going to be taking over TikTok. This is Larry Ellison, the owner of Oracle Software Company. Ellison is the second richest man on earth, and he's part of a group called Friends of Israel Defense Forces that raises money for the Israeli military. Last year, Ellison gave them their largest donation in history, giving $16.6 million directly to the IDF. And recently, his company decided to build a data harvesting center, not in America, where he's a citizen, but in Israel. The company's CEO, Safra Katz, on the other hand, is an Israeli citizen who will now have access to your personal data. So much for China harvesting our data, right? I guess the media was worried about the wrong foreign power. And just this year, Ellison was accused of suppressing or firing pro-Palestinian voices at his company, or even those who are just critical of the Israeli assault on Gaza. CEO Safra Katz even said, for employees, it's clear, if you're not from America or Israel, don't work here. This is a free country. Unless you criticize Israel, then no freedoms for you. During COVID, Larry Ellison invited Netanyahu to vacation on his private island while the rest of us were locked in our homes. And there are even some unconfirmed reports that he offered Netanyahu a seat on Oracle's board of directors. So Larry Ellison taking over TikTok is about as close as you can get to Netanyahu himself taking over TikTok.
All right, I'm going to stop there because I have another video that's going to get into another part of it. And in fact, I need to move to a different spot to start that part because I realized that the other video that I'm going to show plays the little video we just, here we go, let's see.
I love the intricacies of your process. Let me know how much pressure you're using on your mouse right now.
Okay. So and then the last piece right here, Jimmy Dore and Max Blumenthal picking up where this is more of a reminder. It's going to pick up right where the other thing left off and then get into a reminder about who Larry Ellison is and what he has said.
I have been to Israel. I've been to the border. I have spent time to the people who govern the state of Israel. And I feel a deep emotional connection to the state of Israel.
It means he's gone, looked at the scenario that's going on in the West Bank and Gaza.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Right? He's aware of that. He's not, right? It's not like a secret to him.
Okay.
On the Israeli people.
You are an high-tech person. What do you think about Israeli startups and high-tech phenomena?
Oh, well, after Silicon Valley, there's an area, Herzliya has probably got more startups than any other place other than Silicon Valley in Northern California. So we've actually acquired a number of Israeli companies. We have 2 CEOs at Oracle. One's name is Safra Katz, and she was born in Israel. So again, we love the country of Israel, and we'll do everything we can to support the country of Israel.
Recently hear that many people criticizing Israel, especially after the Gaza operation. How do you feel as someone just saying we love Israel so much?
Well, again, it's a difficult situation, isn't it? To conduct military operations around civilians is very difficult, and of course there were tragedies, and the civilians were hurt. That's a terrible thing. But one thing we know for certain, that the Israeli army did everything they could to minimize civilian casualties.
What?
In that regard, they've done a much better job than a lot of other armies all over the world throughout history.
Thank you very much.
Look at his face
So,
saying that, right? Look at his face while he's saying that.
He looks a little
Breaking
bit like
TikTok.
Prince with this latest facelift.
Well, I mean,
Just
he's,
from the profile, the mouth.
he's had so much work done, and he's like, Robert and I were talking about this the other night. He is really the Silicon Valley billionaire who's into like the injections of young people's blood and stuff like that, right? He is sort of the archetype for that. People talk about it in terms of Peter Thiel, and I'm sure he's got into some weird stuff himself. But Larry Ellison has been always into this stuff, right? Like, I mean, he's, it's hard to find any pictures of him where he didn't look like he had been, over and over having work done. I mean, he's 81.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay.
U.S. deal finalized. The U.S. app will have its own separate Zionist algorithm. Oracle CEO, Jewish Zionist owner, Silver Lake Zionist organization, and Andreessen Horowitz, Jewish Zionist founder, will control U.S. TikTok.
We've unpacked it before.
It sounds familiar.
Okay.
There will be an American and Israel board with U.S. and Israel government oversight. U.S. users will download a new app that looks identical to the current TikTok, but runs entirely on U.S. Israeli-controlled algorithms. This is a tragedy for free speech. This will help ruin the West. You have no idea how bad this is, and I want to show you how bad this guy is. So this is the guy who's buying TikTok. He's the head of Oracle, and because the government made this happen, the Trump's government made this happen. I'm not saying that Biden wouldn't either. I'm saying the government is wholly owned by Zionists. And here's what he says about surveillance. So if you're worried about China's death, listen to what now Israel is going to have this is the surveillance he wants to bring to America.
Police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on, and it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of
maybe he wrote the text messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs, right? Because they were talking about how 20-year-olds don't talk like that. They were calling it the squad car. He just called it the squad car. So maybe it's an Oracle Open AI generated script, right?
Applications using AI. If we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No. You can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be immediately, that's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm's going to go off. It's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised.
Oh, great. We can all live in a nanny state.
And the supervision will, and if there's a problem, AI will report the problem and report it to the appropriate person, whether it's the sheriff or the chief or whomever.
I love how he just imagines that one of those people are corrupt and that they will actually, you know what I mean?
We need to
this is his cell.
take control.
Is that we're going to surveil police, not criminals.
But he said we're going to surveil citizens.
Oh,
right? We're going to surveil the police.
This is his big selling point. Oh,
right.
No. Ugh. He's vile.
Look at his arms. Like he's got some bruises here and here.
Old people's skin bruises really easily.
It's like my dad is 83 and his skin looks like that, but my dad's face doesn't look like that. That betrays him right there. Yeah.
Right.
The situation. We have, same thing. We have drones. We just, if there's something going on in a shopping center, and I'll stop. A drone goes out there, get there way faster than a police car. There's no reason for, by the way, high-speed chases. You shouldn't have high-speed chases between cars. You just have a drone follow the car. I mean, it's very, very simple. And the new generation of autonomous drones.
So he's saying that because we'll be under constant 24-hour surveillance, including the police, that everybody will be on their best behavior. Okay, that sounds way more Orwellian than I could ever imagine. That's Aldous Huxley meets 1984. But what he's really saying is that you will have no place to dissent. And what that just sounds like, we have the perfect tool to enforce conformity. And that's what that is. So
yeah,
that's that's what they really want. They want no dissent anywhere at any time, and they want to enforce conformity. And that's what I thought MAGA was afraid of China for. I thought that's what MAGA said China does. That they invade your privacy and they enforce conformity and they squash dissent. That's this guy's dream. That's the guy that Trump just engineered to take over TikTok. And if you think they're doing it for data safety, we all know that's not for data safety. So go ahead, Max, take it where you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like I'd prefer to have China control my data on TikTok, considering I'm not living under the control of China.
That's right.
And now these psychopathic reptilian shapeshifters have it under their control, and they're handing it over to
That's
Israel.
A departure.
Oracle, what do they do?
I love it, don't you?
I was listening to another recent Max interview over the past week, and I'm not liking him because he's lying and faking. So I'm not into him. So now he's trying to move away from his Marxist, leftist perspective and embrace reptilians. I don't buy it.
He's always I've always heard him say some things like that. He's definitely of more of a socialist persuasion, but I would consider him a left-wing conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not liking him. He just did some crazy snow job about Charlie Kirk and Netanyahu, and the way he told the story was so clear that he was not telling the truth that it really bummed me out.
I haven't seen the one.
I have a clip if we want to listen to it.
So that's enough there. I wanted to do the Larry Ellison Pion. I feel like I want to call him the Oracle of Zion, right?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I was thinking we could call the show the Oracle of Zion. But this is, to me, the amount of disturbing he is, and the fact that that financial transaction of him, two things simultaneously happening, him becoming the richest man in the world by doing this, having this weird stock thing happen with Oracle and OpenAI, where he made money on the way up and the way down, and then immediately bought TikTok for much lower than the company is actually valued at, and is now basically controlling it with his love for Israel in mind, in addition to owning almost the entire rest of the sort of mainstream and sub-mainstream media when it comes to both news and entertainment. That is probably what along with SB 1, what was the number, 1171 or 1711?
It's 117 or 177, 117.
Right, which is also, it's connected because it's about hateful speech. And so my guess would be that that's going to be not what's not allowed on all of these things that Oracle does data for is hateful speech. But of course, it's only hateful if it hurts a certain group's feelings, right? Kind of thing. And my guess is that hateful speech of kinds that they approve of will still be allowed, right? So yeah.
Agreed. I'd like to get your take on something. Thank you, High Heart 771. Regarding hate speech against marginalized groups. I saw
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you so much, Jim. We love you and we hope you're having a better day.
And thank you, Dead Star Cave Girl.
Basically, she was just apologizing for using the word retarded because she said she got a bunch of DMs from people who were offended. And I'm like, too fucking bad. This is an offensive. just some rando. She's not random. She's like a lovely person on Instagram.
Got it. Okay.
Who put out an apology for using the word retarded to describe people who believe the news and trust the government. And then she rolled it back and apologized. So I would like to know your take on this. Like,
why apologize for telling the truth?
Right. Why apologize for using the word retarded? I don't people are allowed to use offensive terms. And I think retarded people know they're retarded, or parents of retarded children know that their children are retarded. Like, I don't see why that means that we shouldn't use the word.
Most people who have like developmentally disabled children don't refer to them as retarded. Their kids has Down syndrome, their kids have a genetic disorder, their kids have a development, right? Like, no, I've never heard a parent say, yeah, we haven't really challenging my child is retarded. It's completely changed its meaning in that, like, it's the vernacular or whatever, the pop culture. Retarded is like something someone chooses to be, and disabled is something that somebody is by misfortune of nature.
Correct. Oh, I like that. So in the same way that we've evolved to not use the word retarded to pathologize developmental disabilities, the word retarded itself has evolved into like a certain sort of societal stupidity.
It means something, yes. It means something completely different at this point.
Okay, I appreciate that, because I wouldn't back down on that. I'm like, no, never apologize for saying retarded. And if you're offended, then you have work to do on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can't, like, you can either be, we can't, like, when people become afraid of words, then they cease to, like, have any awareness that the fear should be reserved for very specific things in like the human experience. And those are things that actually happen in the physical world.
Correct.
Our nervous system, our reaction, stuff like is set up, our fight or flight or whatever is set up to deal with that. Right.
Yes.
And this is one of the things, like, me and my dad used to get in this argument all the time, and we get in this argument less now. But he for a long time, it seemed like he was more offended by rhetoric than action. Like, he would vote for someone.
That's the entire left.
Right. And so, like, he's not doing this as much. He's not, like, we're not having this argument as much anymore. So I don't know if we just aren't talking about it, or he doesn't feel that way anymore. But this is like that, right? While you're enraged about people saying awful things, some people are over here doing awful things, and you don't believe those are happening because the same people who tell you you can't use this word or that word are not reporting the actions to you.
But notice this is a pattern, because like today on my way home, I'm driving down St. Francis and there's a bunch of Palestine protesters. I think one of the symptoms of the Wetiko virus that like distorts people into a leftist Marxist mentality is that they're so overwhelmed by the actual problems in the world that they take meaningless, senseless, virtue signaling actions that are going to move no needles.
Correct.
God knows why. Because their mind control tells them to.
Right. I mean, like, it is very, very clear to me that, like, with probably very few or maybe very few exceptions, protesting is entirely a creation of the same class of people that are supposedly cracking down on right? Like, the whole, it's obvious, right? Like, you know, the only meaningful protest is really with your dollars or your participation. Don't spend your money on things you don't believe in. Don't participate in things you don't believe in. Just standing outside and screaming about it maybe gets like a lot of like honks or attention or whatever
it's attention seeking.
But it doesn't ever do anything. And you know, in my mind, voting doesn't do anything either, but I know some people feel differently. But money and participation is the biggie for me.
Correct. Okay, so speaking of protesting, since most of them are funded by one George Soros, I want to share my fight with ChatGPT and then my grassroots.
You found it. You found it. You found your fight.
It was just like the whole browser went away for some reason.
That's weird.
Okay, so very quickly, and I want let me move this out of the way just so you guys can see the original quote that I was asking about. So I was trying to find the source of the quote. We think of Open Society Foundation as being an independent but allied partner country. We work closely with the Open Society Foundation, but we have to synchronize US foreign policy with the Open Society Foundation. So I asked the Google chat who said this, and you guys can see its response. The quoted statement is often misattributed and frequently appears in misinformation campaigns. It has been used to suggest an improper influence by the Open Society Foundations over U.S. foreign policy, but there is no evidence that a prominent figure said it. So then it goes into misattributed, false claim, no record, and notice all its sources: Reuters, PolitiFact,
Right.
Britannica. This is thanks to the Soros web wipe, right? And then it gives me this. The quote plays into a long-standing conspiracy theory propagated by conservative and right-wing groups that falsely portrays Soros and Open Society Foundations as a shadow government secretly orchestrating U.S. global events. So I just want us to see the extent of propaganda, because all I asked was, who said this?
Right.
And it goes into right-wing conspiracy theory, all this shit, right?
No, you didn't even say whether you thought it was bad or good. Maybe you thought it was like the best quote ever and you wanted to make sure you attributed it properly.
Correct. All I asked was, who said this? So then check it out. So I say, wow, that's quite a load of propaganda you've just shoveled my way. Let's pretend you're objective and not a globalist. Don't bother with the fake fact-checking organizations. Dig deep into Wayback Machine. Find the source of this quote. As the previous response,
pause. I imagine you in like a dominatrix outfit with your whip, telling it what to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. So it doubles down. Despite the quote in question is a fabrication that has been widely debunked as part of a misinformation campaign, despite extensive searches, including for archived versions of the Wayback Machine, no evidence has been found to support the claim that this quote originated from a verifiable source.
What about an unverifiable source?
So wait, it goes into: the quoted text does not appear in any publicly recorded interviews, speeches, or writings by George Soros or any other prominent figure. The Open Society Foundations has repeatedly denied that Soros made this or other statements. So now they're going into this was debunked as a Soros quote. So I said, no one claimed George Soros said this. Why are you lying and running cover in order to editorializing? So this is my third try. I just want us to be aware of what a snow job this AI bullshit is. The attribution to George Soros was an error in the previous response. He just gives me, the statement is a fabrication that has been used as a tool for misinformation, right? It just goes into this whole long snow job.
Somebody at some point somewhere said it, because otherwise, how would anyone be aware of it? So this is dumb.
And look where it goes with it. In reality, the quote's origin lies in politically motivated disinformation.
Right. Which disinformation campaign and who said it?
But wait. So now I'm on try number 4. All I said was, you're a liar. My sincerest apologies. I understand your frustration and appreciate you calling me out on my error. The previous responses were not objective and were completely wrong in their analysis of the quote. It was a failure on my part to accurately source the information, and instead I relied on common but incorrect explanations. It was actually said by Peter Mandelson.
Which is so you didn't, like, that was the kind of information you were looking for. You were not insisting it was George Soros. Okay.
No. I had to press it 4 times to get it to stop lying. Think how many people aren't doing that.
Right. Well, remember when we listened to that clip from Jeremy Reese on Danny Jones, where he was saying, if you already basically know the answer that you're looking for, you can ask it a million different ways, and eventually it'll acknowledge that you're right and it's wrong, and it will tell you what you want to know. But so basically, AI is chat bots or chat GPT or whatever as a tool for learning is only good for people who already know everything.
Yes, this is what I'm saying, and this is why it's so important for people to understand for research, is that it is a huge, big, fat, giant liar with a clear leftist bent.
Did you see that Ian Carroll had a video a few weeks ago telling people to abandon Google for ChatGPT?
Oh yeah. He's pathetic. Okay, so the clip I have, which I do think is important, is gonna run about 5-6 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, we just listened to a bunch of long clips, so go ahead, yeah.
It's newsworthy. It's not just Beyonce dancing, although I really look forward to breaking that down with you.
Breaking down Beyonce's dance moves.
Breaking down Beyonce.
All the single ladies. All the single ladies.
All right, so this is from No Agenda. Let me just pull it up. This is it Grassley? Is he a senator?
Grassley is a senator.
Correct. Okay, awesome. So this is all those hearings they were having with Kash Patel.
Right.
This is his testimony, which well, you'll feel into it. I don't want to be like ChatGPT and tell you how to think about it. Here we go, fair use.
Frost, and this is the beginning of it. Patel hearings, Grassley, Arctic frost.
During the Wray era at the FBI, the Bureau reallocated resources from child crimes to January 6 work. Director Patel, you've also moved agents
just that by itself. They move resources from child crimes. Child crimes, I tell you, I can't believe they did that.
Work. Director Patel, you've also moved agents from headquarters to field offices to better align with their law enforcement mission. Under your leadership, the FBI has apprehended several most wanted fugitives and secured the extradition of senior leaders of the Central American gangs like MS-13. Now, it's well understood that your predecessor left you an FBI infected with politics. I'm going to provide examples of that today, including making public new whistleblower records. At your nomination hearing, I made public records that whistleblowers provide me about Arctic frost. Arctic frost was the FBI case opened and approved by antitrust Trump FBI agent Thibault. Arctic frost then became Jack Smith's elector case against then Citizen Trump and now President Trump. These new records show that Arctic frost was much broader than just an electoral matter. The case was expanded to Republican organizations.
Okay, is he 92, that guy?
Yeah.
He's pretty spry for 92, I'll give him that.
He's hanging in there, but he really hasn't aged out. I mean, he sounded like this 30 years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
So he's gotten to some steady state of some sort.
Yeah. You know what it is? Testosterone. He's jacked on tea.
I don't know if he's jacked on tea. Maybe he may be jacked on tea.
Tea, yes.
So here we go. Now he gets into the Arctic frost. This is disgusting, by the way.
Some examples of the group that Wray FBI sought to place under political investigation included the Republican National Committee, Republican Attorney Generals Association, and various Trump political groups. In total, 92 Republican targets, including Republican groups and Republican-linked individuals, were placed under investigative scope of Arctic frost. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups, Turning Point USA. In other words, Arctic frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. It was the vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus. So today, Senator Johnson and I are making these records public for the entire country to see, and I hope a lot of people are interested in seeing what government can do when various agencies have a political agenda.
I was looking, let's see, Fox News reported on it.
Assumption about
this is because
Nick Frost is, which is Russ.
So expose the political way in which
it actually being a CIA scam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's water under the bridge. Let's go to part. He continues with more stuff.
my investigative work has also exposed the political way in which Peter Navarro was investigated and prosecuted. When FBI agent Thibault found out that Biden's DOJ would prosecute Navarro, he said, "Wow, great." That's a quote, unquote. Through whistleblowers, I've obtained a audio recording of Special Agent Giagardina and Special Agent Sebastian Gardner's delivery of a subpoena to Navarro. I'm making that audio public today. In a court document filed by the Department of Justice, Navarro's interaction with the FBI was unfairly described as, quote unquote, the word combative. That intervention with Navarro was just as the justification to later aggressively arrest him. Then we get to the Clinton Annex and the Durham Annex. The Clinton Annex showed that the Comey FBI had evidence necessary to complete the Clinton investigation. The one about her mishandling of emails and classified information, but the FBI never did its job because it never reviewed the evidence at that time. The Durbin Annex.
Can we just let that sink in? They had enough on Clinton to do something, and they didn't do anything. They've been illegally spying on 92 Republican organizations. This country's a joke.
Totally a joke. And unfortunately, he had the monotone going so long that it was hard to differentiate when he said something important from right. But also I'm noticing that he's another suspect for having written the text script between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs because he said vehicle instead of car.
Okay. Okay, now I didn't bring a clip, although I'm going to do a whole quantum languaging unpacking of Starmer's announcement that everyone in the UK who wants to make money is required to have a digital ID. But I do think it's important for our audience to know that that just happened. That's real.
Yeah. Yes. I did see some stuff about that. And I'm sure, probably that's with Ellison taking over TikTok, it's going to be, you need a real ID to use TikTok. It's going to be that kind of shit, right? Americans are not going to be so inclined to do it to work, but they'll do it to play. That's sort of the American side.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Would you ever, for me, I'm not uploading any, even like a regular ID to use Zoom or YouTube or anything. Where do you stand on that?
So I can't recall anything asking for that. Right? Obviously platforms.
Did you have to give your ID to YouTube to monetize?
I don't think so because I did it so long ago.
Got it. Okay.
Right? I think all of the platforms that I get paid for, obviously they have some of my, banking financial information, but it didn't seem like it wasn't anything more than if I were to go start an account anywhere else, right? And there was I never got a request for something where I was like, where did this come from, right? Like, why do you want this? But it might be different if I tried to sign up now.
That's, right? They won't let me monetize without doing it. Not that I post there anymore, but I'm just like, that is a hard no for me.
Yeah. I don't I don't think it happened. If it did happen, it happened so long ago. I think that I first paid for something on YouTube. I wasn't getting money from YouTube, but I first paid for something on YouTube 15 years ago, right? 20 years ago.
What would you pay for on YouTube?
I can't remember. There was maybe it wasn't even on YouTube. Maybe it was Google Drive.
Okay.
Right? Paying for that. And so that seemed to start any financial whatever I had with them. I don't recall having to, because I wasn't really set up to upload that stuff. So I don't recall any of that being part of the issue. But no, so far, I get the same bullshit, new updated terms of agreement from PayPal and all that kind of crap that is, but I haven't had, like, I know, like, Les told me they weren't going to let him continue posting on Instagram if he didn't give him the ID. And for a while, his account was blocked, and I then guess he didn't give it to them, I don't think, but they seemed to unblock it. So I think they try some of these things, and if not enough people do it, then they ease off of it, which I think that's the best,
Yeah, because remember when PayPal was taking $2,500 out of people's accounts for wrong sync, and they rolled that back real quick.
Right. So, like, whenever there's any of these new policies that roll out and that say you have to do that, like even on locals, like they want you to attach your locals account to a Rumble account. I don't want to. I haven't done it.
Pop up is enough to make me want to leave locals.
Right, but I haven't done it. Right.
I won't do it.
Yeah. So I think it's like they try to tell you have to. It's the same thing, like you hear them saying that you have to have a real ID to get on the airplane, right? And I see people all the time, right? I mean, I have a passport, so I use my passport. It doesn't matter, right? But I see people being like, well, I don't have it. And they're just like, well, get it. Okay, go through, right? Like, I think they just by saying you have to, they hope that more people will.
I can see that. I mean, here, they're all hung up about like ICE, and they're trying to make everything, as we talked about with that article about like ICE and immigration. So they wouldn't let Eric into some building without his ID, but then they were like, fuck Trump. And then they let him in.
Right, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But I'm curious because Andrew Wilson Volleyball wrote in the chat that quote you're referencing was said by Maria Zakharova. Can you send that to me, Andrew? Because obviously liar fake chat GPT gave me a different thing, and I do need to figure out who actually said that.
Cool. I saw that in there. All right. I think it's time for questions, comments, all that fun. Let's go to the chat room. All right. All capital letters if you got it. I'm having trouble rolling back. I can't roll back to see. So if there's anything, ooh, Nish is in the house. Hi, Nish. I can't scroll back at all. My screen is frozen. So if there's anything that we can respond to while we're or whatever, you're gonna have to tell me.
There are no questions.
There are no questions.
But thank you guys for your generous super chats, because those go a long way. Emily just took a very expensive trip, so if you can throw some cash her way, it would be helpful.
Windhammer, and I totally agree with you. Zbigniew Brzezinski looks just like the Ahriman sculpture by Steiner. I agree with that 100%. That's the only.
Marza, that's awesome that you're still on 3G. I love that.
That's the only part I can see. I can see like from Nisha's comment down to Pono 888, and it's frozen. I can't roll.
Nish says hi, M. Ashley says great show, ladies. Thank you, Ashley. Michael says Martha Fart, I agree. Thor says the censorship BS should have been nipped in the bud after Handy shook. Oh, Andrew says DeepSeek gave you the answer.
Shucks, that's a good one. I like it. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Hayden says, what are y'all's thoughts on trying to wake up family members or friends?
I do not try at all anymore. I allow them to enjoy their slumber. And I find that that's more effective. Like when I don't try to wake them up, then they ask me questions that allow me to say the thing that I would have said when I was trying to wake them up. So I just like do my thing, and hopefully they'll find some interesting question to ask me that will allow me to go into a monologue that will essentially be the same thing I would have, sort of hit them over the head with 15 years ago.
I know.
Works better.
Sorry, so my chat is frozen now, so it's got to be, I can't see anything.
Oh, so we both have frozen chats, which I guess means let's see. Nope, yeah, mine is completely frozen.
I would love because Andrew's saying it was Maria Zakharova, Russian Foreign Ministry, and then my liar is telling me it's someone out of Tony Blair's parliament. I would love it if a third person could search and see if we could get a completely different answer as to who said this.
God, my thing is so frozen. I can't even refresh it. All right, let me see. Okay, Maria Zakharova. What's the quote?
The quote is, hang on.
Because the rest of my computer works, just not YouTube.
Okay, we think of the Open Society Foundation as being an independent but allied partner country.
All right, I'm just gonna start with we think of the Open Society Foundation and see if anything comes up. All right, so we go.
Did you get something?
My computer's being slow, but let's see if it does anything.
My computer only does this when you and I live stream.
Yeah, me too.
Never anything else.
Yep, same. I don't know if live streaming takes more like computer power or something.
Oh, maybe that could be.
That might be, but yeah, it never happens to me during a show when I'm searching for other things, like when I'm recording regular on Zoom and whatnot. Let me see if I can close some windows and get a little faster activity. Let's see.
I'm with Emily as far as waking up friends and family. It seems totally pointless. I've never successfully woken anyone up.
Like my dad used to just tell me I was full of shit and like nonsense and whatever. And then I stopped talking to him about it. And then he started asking questions. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to pursue that path with everyone on that. Right.
I think trying to wake people up is rather boring.
Totally.
So I would say because I'm so outspoken, most of the people who were not on the same page want nothing to do with me. And then the friends who I still have, we just talk about the things that are actually interesting and we actually care about.
Yep.
But like trying to get people to think what I think, I just find that very boring.
Yeah. I'm perfectly content to like have completely opposing ideas and viewpoints about things, like with people, as long like they can respect mine, I can respect theirs, as long as if they can put together an idea train that at least makes sense, even if I disagree with it or I think it's wrong, I can understand their logic train. That leads to an interesting conversation, and I like it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
What I don't like is people who can't explain themselves well, but expect me to respect their opinion in the same way that I'm respecting my own opinion about so, right? Because I do a good job of laying out what it is I think and why, right? So if some people just come to me and like, you know, they have like an opinion, but they can't explain to me why or back it up with any sort of like logic or facts or anything like that, I don't want to talk to you.
That's a thing that's challenging. Like, remember when I had a libtard boyfriend in 2019 and I was trying in terms of like being in a respectful, functional relationship to give him the benefit of the doubt and like stay open to his perspectives. But it was really challenging because I knew he was wrong and I'm someone who does research, right? So it's like, I don't know how to do that. You know, like I want to respect other people's perspectives, but when they're based in pure ignorance and mind control only, like,
yes,
then we're playing Emperor's New Clothes.
So it's going really slow, but stuff is starting to pop up. So here it says no results found for that. And here it says briefing by Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria.
Okay, so we have 2 for Maria Zakharova. Thank God I brought it up. This is what's so frustrating is how AI's like taken over all the searches.
Let's see what happens if I click without the quotes. Maybe that will help. But it'll also take longer for it to. Here we go.
And thank you so much, Andrew. Big time.
Russia under President Vladimir Putin has viewed the Open Society Foundation with hostility for years, ultimately banning the organization in 2015. Maria Zakharova, the spokesperson for Russia's foreign ministry, has used her platform to express the official Kremlin stance against the foundation. The Open Society Foundation's ban and rationale. Undesirable organization. In November 2015, Russia labeled the Open Society Foundation and the Open Society Institute Assistance Foundation as undesirable and banned them from operating in the country.
I don't think this is her saying this.
I remember when this happened, though. I remember this whole thing here. But yeah, it's different than it being a quote.
Right, but the quote is someone who's working in partnership.
Right.
With Open Society, not someone who doesn't want to work with Open Society.
Maybe Maria Zakharova said that. Maybe she said so-and-so said, or maybe like, you know, right? Like, so maybe he heard her talking about the fact that somebody had said that.
Well, just to make it all the more opaque and confusing, I got the quote from Mike Benz.
Right.
Who attributed it to Bill Clinton's Secretary of State. And when I ran searches for that, I came up dry. So this whole quote thing is now becoming an even bigger mystery than when I started researching it this morning.
And who was Bill Clinton, Secretary of State? Wasn't it like
He had two.
Warren Christopher or something like that?
Have to look it up.
I feel like my dad used to have a friend who was the secretary for Warren Christopher. Wasn't he the Secretary of State or was he the Secretary of something else?
Let me look it up. Bill Clinton.
No, the Warren Christopher would have, it was Bill Clinton. That was like 1994, 93, 94. That's Bill Clinton time.
Warren Christopher and Madeleine Albright.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because like we become aware of things at a certain point, and that these people had like a whole pre-existing reality that led them to the space where they said something like that. It's probably something they've been saying over and over in different ways for years, right? So it's like sometimes hard to find it. If you can find that a person actually said that, whether or not they were the first one, I think still is valid, right?
I'm not invalidating it, but just again, going back to, I don't know what to think about Mike Benz. I don't know if he's an honest actor. I don't know what his game is. But the fact that he said, this is a real quote, you could find it on my Twitter, here's who said it, and he was totally off. And I also just do still think it's weird that Mike Benz still silos this conversation only to internet censorship, just like USAID and not talking about PEPFAR. I don't know. I just don't know what to think about him.
So I listened to about an hour of him, maybe 45 minutes of him on with Tom Bilyeu the other day.
I was listening to that too.
We're listening to it in the car on the way home, and Laura got bored, so we stopped. I could have kept going. But he, again, at least the part that I heard, he said the thing about democracy. And again, Tom Bilyeu did not pick up on that.
Well, Tom Bilyeu's an idiot.
100%, right? So like, but it feels to me like he's just there, like, he has found the lane for himself that has given him a career and makes him feel safe. And every once in a while, he dangles out the carrot of like, this is the real issue. But as long as no one's picking it up on it, I'll continue collecting my paycheck for just doing the greatest hits.
Correct.
Right? But the fact that he keeps saying it and no one picks up on it tells me like either that's like, we'll keep tempting them with that. And as long as nobody's interested in it, we're not going to go there. But no, I don't, I'm highly suspicious of him at this.
Yeah, the reason I'm not trusting it, like I understand, okay, he's found a lane, he's found a niche, he gets invited on podcasts, he's got his foundation, all of that. But as I'm unpacking this in like my tiny local way, every day I'm like, I cannot fucking believe this. Like, this is the greatest story of the millennia. Why is no one talking about it? So I would think if he really knew this and this was his lane, he'd be excited to share all of the pieces of it because it's so massive.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's there to give people information that at this point doesn't matter anymore. It's irrelevant. It's
correct.
And that's just, it's kind of like the same thing with Matt Taibbi, who's just like, he's still talking about Russiagate and the Twitter files and whatever it is. And it's like, okay, that's like something he's known for. And he sort of understands the parameters of that. Like he can say things that are somewhat informative, especially to people like you or me who go, okay, like, let's not just stick with what he's saying, but let's like take that template out and see if we can apply it to something else to see if it actually works or whether it's just a couple made up Hasbara for this bullshit or, you know what I mean? So
less on the Yiddish.
Right. So, yeah, I think this is what happens. Like when somebody finds a safe lane, they're not really like interested in getting out of it.
Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate
like they should just have to have a sign on their YouTube video that says safe lane.
Oh, they should. But I appreciate the tag team research on who the source of the quote actually is. And thank you, Jerusha, for your generous super chat. We love you so much. We love you more than everyone who didn't give us any super chats. It's definitely a hierarchy of adoration.
Okay. All right, I think we're done. Are we done? This is the Oracle of Zion. We'll see you guys next Wednesday to talk about something else.